Back with another breakdown video for Sweet Science of Fighting. James DeLacy here. Seems like you guys are enjoying these, so as they keep popping up, I'll keep doing them. So today we have Caleb Plant, and I was looking it up, he fights this weekend. So this video came out a day ago, but I'm going to assume this is not his training the week of the fight. So we'll just kind of... We'll say this is just fight camp training. We won't give it any label for day or week. So a lot of assumptions I'm going to make during this and just give a general idea of maybe what's going on in this video. So let's see. I've only briefly gone through this, so I haven't seen much what's going on. So let's see. Some stretching to start. Nice. Well, it's nice if you've got someone to do that for you. What else we got? Alright. Stuff. So just some general shoulder prep work on the floor. Let's see what else we got going on. Again, just some more general shoulder rotator cuff work, abs on the Bosu ball, essentially bicycle sit-ups or crunches, neck with the towel in the mouth. So it looks like he's doing like a retraction with the neck and then a neck extension. So he's actually covering two movements in one there, plus potentially a little bit of extra resistance on the way down with the coach pulling down on it. Pretty good exercise. Whether you need to hold it in your mouth or not is up for debate, but regardless, doing neck, it's always good. And then we're into push-ups. So he's doing his push-ups, then with partner resistance. I really like this. This is just such a simple way of overloading the pushing pattern without having to load plates and things on the back. Just have someone push down. Could be used for even eccentric overload. Then we're back to some abs. So it looks like it's potentially a little circuit going on. I don't know how they pieced this video together, so we don't actually know. But so far we have just basic ab work. On the Bosu ball is nice because you actually get the stretch through. We've got more neck work now in the quadruped position. So hands and knees on the ground. Looks like maximal or overcoming isometrics for neck laterally. So that's a really nice variation too. And then we're into hanging leg raises. Do a little ab exercise again. And looks like just some ankle mobility. And you can see here he's got the band around the ankle too. That can help with being able to create that space to be able to get the knee forward and push that ankle range of motion. I think that was it, and then a run. So interesting. I don't know if this was... They had some him doing some pull-ups and stuff in the beginning. But as a fight camp training program, we don't know what he's done before. He said that he had some fun previous after his last fight and stuff, so I'm assuming they had to rein him back in. But let's just assume that this is an 8-week fight camp, and we'll just assume that that session happened in the last 4 weeks, so at least 4 weeks out. And if we're talking, the thing is with a lot of elite athletes and elite fighters, often it's about making sure they don't get hurt. So even just doing something as basic as what he did there, where he just kind of feels good moves, just a little bit of basic strength work, it's probably enough depending on what he's done before as well. Typically I would prefer something that's maybe a little more intent. So maybe it is some kind of maximal jumping, maximal throwing. You don't really have that risk of injury if you're doing maximal throwing, for example. And you're still getting that rate of force development, be able to produce that force quickly and developing power versus just going through, say, a basic, some shoulder isolation, some weighted push-ups and some neck. That stuff can still be in there. I just think there could be a little more done in that. But again, we don't know what's been done for the rest of the week. Is he in the gym again later in the week, earlier in the week, etc. So that could just be a snapshot of maybe as a quote-unquote more priming style session, because he's sparring now. Potentially that's the session he does on a sparring day where it's a little easier and allows him to get more out of his sparring versus taking away the energy with what he's doing in the gym. So there's always a give and take there. typically for most fighters going through a fight camp, this is when you dial up the intensity in terms of, I guess you could say in terms of loading and or speed. So you're either jumping maximally, throwing maximally, or doing very low volume, high load weights. As an example, at this time, it's also nice to be able to reduce the range of motion. So performing partial lifts, it makes it easier to recover from as well. So you still get that high intent and high load, but you're not getting the soreness and fatigue that you would if you say did a full squat versus a quarter squat off the pins. Now, in your fight camp as well, depending on how much you're doing leading into that or going, say, the first 4 weeks, you can really dial back your volume and make really good gains. So a study I published 10 or so years ago now, we took professional rugby league players and basically took them from 3 or 4 gym training sessions a week all the way down to 1, and we completely slashed the volume. We're talking 4 lifts, 3 sets of about 3 to 5 reps and heavy, and that's all they did once a week for 3 weeks leading into the season. And we saw huge increases in force, jump height, and power. And that's likely because we mitigated a lot of that fatigue from the previous months coming into that. Now, this obviously depends on how much you've done beforehand, but I still think it's a good idea that in something that you could implement as a fighter in those final 3 weeks is really dial back the strength training and just doing one hard day, and then gives you more time for recovery, more time to be able to do your technical work, your conditioning, etc., and not have not have another session and maybe more volume that could take away from a lot of that stuff. So that's just something to bear in mind as well. But I think that's all we have on his actual strength conditioning in there. But yeah, that was my insights into what's going on there. But if there's someone you want to break down, let me know down in the description or DM me on Instagram or whatever it is, and I'll break it down for you.